soul ignite. Mindset on shift, baby. Welcome to your life.
Hey, 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 y'all. How y'all like listen, how you be late for your own show? Like I put the timer on and the timer did not go off, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, I'm coming up here today. Usually I be having like a lately, I've been having a guest, but um everybody been booking far out for whatever reason. But how y'all doing? What y'all been doing? What y'all did for Mother's Day? And please excuse me, y'all know I be on like 4 different platforms. So if I'm talking and y'all don't be talking about me. You know what I'm saying? Talk with me. That's crazy. But anyway, welcome back to the Zipmouth Motivation Show, where we talk about all kind of stuff. We don't just talk about motivation, but we talk about awareness in tonight episode, right? And I wasn't gonna do an episode, but I was like, let me get up here and go ahead and do this episode real quick. I was gonna do it tomorrow, but I think somebody got a show tomorrow that I'm doing anyway. But it's not about the vision and it's not about telling people what to believe politically or to pick a side. It's really about just being aware of like what's happening around you because I'm not really sure people are too aware about what's going on. And I want you to look it up for yourself. Don't just take the information that I give you and just take it, like go look it up and pay attention for yourself, whatever. But shout out to Yoli the brand for making this shirt for me. She's a queen. She be doing all kinds of stuff. She just be like, hey, I got something for you. I'd be like, oh. But anywho, welcome to the show. Welcome to Zip Mouth Motivation. Y'all know I be rambling on because I could sit up here and talk to myself for a full hour. I don't need nobody to talk to me. I just talk to myself because I talk to myself because there is no one to talk to. But getting into the show, whether people like politics or not, politics affect everything. Like they affect education, voting rights, neighborhoods, businesses and opportunities, healthcare, workforce. I mean, you could go on and on and on and on about um, what politics affect. And right now, in this moment right now, there are some major political cultures and social shifts that's happening that I don't really think I ain't gonna say people ain't woke. I'm gonna just say like people not really paying attention to what's happening. And it's very important to pay attention to what's happening and to pay attention to what's happening in the world right now in this moment. Because if you don't, you're going to miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're literally going to miss it. And I don't want nobody to miss it. I don't want nobody to miss it. So I want y'all to catch it and not miss it. I don't know why this thing be locking up like this. Why I can't do what I want to do. Uh, hold on, y'all. My bad. It is my bad. But it be locking up only on Facebook that it does this. Anywho, I'm gonna have to try to figure out why it does that. Like on Facebook, I can't make it where it is. Everybody can see it while I'm on the thing. Uh, no. Either way. But and right now, like I said, there are some political cultures and social shifts that are happening in America, especially in states like Louisiana, Alabama, Florida. Like, I mean, the list can go on. North Carolina, South Carolina, all these different places. It's like some stuff going on. And I don't think people are really understanding or really taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? I feel like most of the time we be distracted, like on some kind of I don't know, we just be distracted on something that, maybe I don't know. I don't know where we be at, but we don't be in the place. We're also going to talk about the pressures on professional Black women in the workforce because I am a professional Black woman in the workforce, baby, and whether people know it or not, we are feeling it. Like we are feeling the shift. So it's important for us to get beyond this and be able to move to the next level. And it's getting hard. It's getting hard to move to the next level. I'm not sure why, but it is getting hard for us to move to the next level because um, we are not getting treated fair. If you think about it, a couple of years ago, to be honest with you, Black women had the most professional jobs or in high positions or whatever. Now, in this phase of life, it seems like that's not what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the move at this moment. And I'm not sure why. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not sure what's going on. A lot of people say it's the change in the what is it, DEI. Um, but that wasn't for us anyway. That wasn't created to give us jobs. That was created for other women to have jobs. We just kind of got, like a little sprinkle in there, got thrown in there with that ability to do it. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about generational disconnect because I think that's something else that's happening that we don't talk about that much. But I just want y'all to see the vision. You know what I'm saying? Like, just see the vision for just a second. Just check me for a second. Just kind of open your mind to what I'm going to say for just a moment so that it could become a little bit clearer to you. And it could become clearer, like what we can do and what can happen and how we can make it happen in a greater way. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted because I'm trying to figure out why it doesn't do what I need it to do on certain pages. So, and I don't like that for me. And I don't like that for them because why you not doing what I want you to do? Um, uh, anywho, and then we'll talk about the teen takeover and why the communication behind them is actually genius. And I know people don't want to hear that, but y'all got to feel me when it comes to these teenagers, like to these young people. Y'all got to feel me for just a second because what they're doing is really genius. Yeah, it's a distraction. Yeah, it's drama. Yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, it's everything, like it's all of the above. But it is genius how they're moving. Like it's a genius move. Whether people want to admit it or not, it's definitely a genius move. So we're gonna break all of that down. We're gonna chat about it. We're gonna get into it and just have a conversation about like what's happening, what can change and what we could do. And what, like what you need to look up yourself. Because tonight isn't about emotional reaction, it's about critical thinking. And if you can think critically, then you can get beyond all of the rigmarole, all of the outside stuff. And you like I said, I want y'all to search this stuff for yourself. Don't just sit here, listen to the show or replay the show and just take my word for it. I want you to go dig into it because that's what's important. It's important that you go dig into it for yourself so you can get a clear understanding of what's happening and what's happening right now in this space, in this world, at the moment. So a lot of people online have been using the phrase modern Jim Crow, right? People been using this word modern Jim Crow, and I don't really think they understand what modern Jim Crow is because historically, Jim Crow laws were system designed after slavery that enforced real segregation and weakened Black political and economic power, like weakened Black political and economic power. Recently, though, just recently, right? Legal and political debates around voting rights and district maps in southern states, including Louisiana, have raised concerns among activists and legal scholars, right, about Black voter representation. So I don't know if y'all know, and I don't know if y'all care, but I want y'all to care. But I don't know if y'all know that just recently we lost probably maybe it was like I want to say it was like 8 to 10 Black politicians. You know what I'm saying? Like their jobs are canceled, they're no longer in their positions, all of the above. That stuff is going on. That just happened just recently. It just happened. Okay. Soon as and I don't really want to make this about Trump because it's not about Trump. It's about us being aware and paying attention to what's happening. Because if we don't pay attention to what's happening, then we're gonna be in a crazy world. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna be in a crazy world. I finally got done what I needed to get done. I know y'all tired of me being distracted. So now let's make this clear though, right? People have different political opinions, and that's fine. You believe what you believe, I believe what I believe, and we don't have to believe the same thing. And we should be able to agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like some people will argue that they don't like Trump. You know what I'm saying? I will argue that there are some things that I get what he's doing. Now, like I said, now in the beginning of the show, y'all stick with me because I know y'all finna give me hell about this. But I want y'all to pay attention just for a second. Some people support the legal changes. You know what I'm saying? Even some African Americans are supporting the legal changes. Other people believe that they reduce protection that historically help Black communities maintain political influence, right? So, what is so important about maintaining political influence? People be like, "Oh, I don't know," because all these politicians corrupt. You're right. I feel the same way. I don't feel like none government official cares about us. But hey, you know what I'm saying? That's just my personal opinion. But in Black communities, it's important for us to have some kind of representation. And with them basically saying in Louisiana, like, listen, we don't care about y'all having representation. This is what's going to happen. But I blame us. I blame us because we don't fight for anything. We let people tell us what to do, how to do it, where to do it. We let them cage us in our some people never been outside of their community. We let them cage us in our community. When they want something and they want to come into our communities and they want to change it or they want to move closer to the beach, we allow them to do that. We allow them to buy up all the land and we don't have anything. We allow these things to happen. But tonight's conversation is, like I said, it's bigger than political views. It's the real issues. Our communities informed enough to understand what's changing because that's what's important. Like, is everybody informed enough to understand like the changes that are happening? Or is everybody distracted on whatever they distracted on so they don't know what the changes are that are happening? Because history shows up in something is very important. We all heard the saying like history repeats itself. History repeats itself because people don't pay attention. They don't pay attention to what's going on around them because they're constantly distracted and purposely distracted. Communities don't lose their influence overnight. They lose their influence through distractions, desegregation, and the lack of awareness. Like the real lack of not having the knowledge. And that's the space where you want to get into. You want to get into the space to where you have the knowledge and you know what's going on. So that's why I'm saying, don't just listen to me tell you that things are changing. I want y'all to go look this up so y'all understand like what is changing because there are things that are changing. But let's go a little bit deeper. There is another major conversation happening around the 14th Amendment, right? Some Alabama politicians, and I'm not going to say names, I want y'all to go look it up, and leaders and legal groups have supported efforts that are tied to African American birthright. So the 14th Amendment involves our birthright. That involves us being citizens. I know people gonna say, well, you know, like this our place, this, that, da, da, da. We ain't fight for it. We still don't fight for it. We let these people tell us whatever, and we just go with it. And we just believe it. We don't look nothing up. We don't research. We don't do any of those things. We just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. I'm saying? And then you got your people who do know the truth, and then they like, well, they don't want to listen. I ain't got time for that. And I get it. I 100% get it. But at the same time, how do we get better if we don't help each other? So now they're talking about challenging the 14th Amendment. So what is that? How does that support us? Now, why is this significant? Because the 14th Amendment is one of the most important constitutional protections in American history. One of the most important ones. It was passed after slavery ended and guaranteed citizenship and equal protection under law for formerly enslaved Black Americans. Do y'all understand what that means? And I understand a lot of people don't feel protected already, right? They don't feel protected. They don't feel like, we got a foot in the grass or whatever you want to call it. Y'all know I'm country. But they don't feel like, this is for us. But then without any protections, that means that anybody can do anything to us at any time and we have no fight. So then what do we do with that? Do we learn how to protect our communities? Because we doing so much fighting and carrying on in our own communities that how can we fight for our communities when we study fighting each other? So this is why I'm saying understand like what's going on around you so you could be prepared for what's going on around you. When you think about everything that's happening in the world, I don't know about y'all. I know a lot of people do celebrate Thanksgiving, but I'm not one that celebrates Thanksgiving because now I be eating the food. Now when my mama cook, I'm going to get that food. But I don't celebrate Thanksgiving because I feel like why are we celebrating something where these people came into a land, they tricked us, they got us drunk, then they raped and killed people in like what? Why would we celebrate something? I don't understand. So when you think about now, this is like a new day, this is a new time, this is a new age, right? So you got to do things a little bit different. So now we have social media. So now they distract us with social media. They keep everybody distracted on social media because they know historically, African Americans feel like they struggle more than anybody in the world, right? Than anybody in the world. That's what African Americans feel. So they give you something where you feel like you can make bukus of money, and you can make bukus of money. But while you're making your money, still pay attention to what's happening around you because we get consumed. We get consumed. So when we get consumed, we get distracted. When we get distracted, they start passing laws overnight, and nobody is fighting to say anything about these laws. Nobody is standing, like up for us in these places except for these politicians. But then if nobody is backing them, it's kind of like a lost cause, right? It's kind of like a lost space. But we have to learn to pay attention to what's really going on. People hear conversations are weakening, redefining, limiting parts of the 14th Amendment, especially in Black communities. It is raising concern historically. And again, like I said, this episode is not to panic people. This is to make you aware of what is happening. It's about understanding how legal and political shifts can affect citizenship, representation, constitutional program protections, and your future generation, your children, your children's children, your children's children, children's children. Can you imagine them trying to weaken the 14th Amendment, saying that African American people are no longer considered citizens? And I know people want to say, like, it's a racist attack, it's a racist attack. But what if it isn't a racist attack? What if Trump is allowing all of this stuff to happen so people, African American people, wake up and start to build and learn how to come together and learn how to do something constructive more than destructive? Instead of us being so distracted by other stuff, maybe we should be distracted with what's happening around us that is going to affect us, that's going to affect our communities in a big way. So I don't know if you've seen it, but when they were going talking about this the other day in the meeting, it was a lot of African American people that were upset. They were frustrated because they feel like we pushed hard for years and years and years to keep stuff like Jim Crow, the 14th Amendment, all of this stuff, so that everybody is treated fairly. But we know, like, for years we haven't been treated fairly. So what if it's like, okay, y'all haven't been treated fairly for all these years. Y'all haven't fought for anything. Y'all just let stuff happen. So we might as well just go ahead and decline everything. Like, let everything go. Y'all have no rights. Y'all not citizens. Y'all not citizens. I'm sorry, y'all. So we got to get to the space to where we can learn more. Where you paying attention to, I ain't saying like don't just watch the news, like watch the meetings. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really be on the news. I'm not even a TV person, but definitely, like pay attention to what's happening around you, what's going on around you. Now let's bring, let's bring it just a little bit closer to home. Florida has become one of the biggest political battle groups in the country, right? One of the biggest political battle. Y'all know y'all governor. That's y'all favorite governor. Something is wrong with him. He hasn't fought for anything. Do y'all know that Florida is one of the only states that don't do PEBT? Like during the summertime. And I know like people like, oh, well, that's our money and people being lazy and they shouldn't be on food stamps and da 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 da. Da. But I don't, like you don't know what people are doing. Maybe people don't get full food stamps. Maybe it's a single mom or a single dad that doesn't have, enough money all the time. Food is expensive. Lights is expensive. Water is expensive. Like everything is high in Florida. So, but why is Florida one of the only states that doesn't have PEBT where these kids can eat during the summer? It's not saying like they gotta, I don't know, I think the food stamp thing changed or whatever. It's not saying that you have to go and get like snacks and stuff, but some kids only eat at lunchtime. They only eat when they go to school. Maybe they don't have the best parent, but maybe, you know what I'm saying? Nobody don't want their child taken away from, but maybe they don't have the best parent. So why is the governor blocking everything? Now we've taken like Black history out of school, so the kids don't learn history. They only learn about Martin Luther King and a couple of other people. It's dumb. At what point do we start fighting for something? At what point do we say like enough is enough? Okay, I want to see something different happen. So many Black educators, activists, and community leaders have expressed concerns about the changes in the education policy. Nothing has been done. Black history curriculum is always a debate. Diversity. There's always a debate when it comes to diversity. And voting for you, like he's jumping on this Jim Crow thing. He's like, listen, we don't need representation for Black folks. You know why? Because they say Black people don't vote, but that can't be true. It can't be completely true. I don't think that the numbers are right. Now people would disagree like with political about the policies. But what worries me more is how disconnected people are from understanding how government affects their daily life. On a daily, people now will, like they will celebrate drama fast, then they'll look into legislation. People now will gossip about whatever, but we're not talking about how they be signing these policies at night. It be 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning, and they be signing policies and signing new stuff into that affects us. And it's because we're distracted. The whole population is distracted. It's become easier to manipulate us emotionally, mentally, physically, because of social media. It has trained many people to react emotionally before researching the facts. And we got to start researching these facts, y'all. We got to start knowing like what's happening in our spaces, in our world, and how this is going to affect our communities. Because a lot of this stuff is about to affect our communities in a big way. But let's talk about something else that we avoid discussing. Honestly, the pressures on the professional Black woman in the workforce. I don't know how many women like in my circle that are professional Black women or other circles, and I'm scrolling up and down social media and I'm listening to these ladies who I know have like master's degrees, doctorate degrees, and they're struggling finding work. Right now, there is 76% of African American women that are professional that are out of work. That's a big percentage of women out of work. When just last year, we fled at 86%. Like we were in the lead. So what's happening? A lot of people will say, "Oh, well, it's the DIE or DEI, whatever you call it." That wasn't for us. That wasn't. We just kind of like, like we kind of like slipped through the cracks a little bit. That wasn't for us. That was for Caucasian women to be able to get equal pay and equal to Caucasian men. That wasn't for us at all. We just kind of slipped in there. But now you have all these women who are educated, who have degrees, and they're struggling to find work. They're now building their own businesses because they can't, like they can't find work. And let me say like this very carefully. This is not a victim mentality. This is not, oh, the black women always getting this and the black women somebody. No, this is like numbers. I'm talking numbers. This is about reality and expectations because many black women in the professional spaces are expected to overperform, overwork, overachieve, overexert just to receive like we have to do so much. And if you're not in that system, because I'm in that system, we have to do a lot in order to get to the top. We worked hard for these degrees. We worked hard for us to change our minds and change our lives and to come into offices and be able to be the lead. We work hard to do those things and we work harder than what people think we do. We work hard. We have to battle every day with racist conversations, with people being racist to us. With I remember when I was my very first job getting out of college, very first job, I had to battle with this lady about this job. She wasn't even the person hiring me. She went to the office. She told them they don't think she didn't think they should hire me. I did nothing to I don't even know. I didn't even know her. And I remember I was crying and I was upset and I was like, I don't understand why I'm having to battle. I worked hard to go to school and get my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. I worked hard for that. And here I am trying to get a job that's not even paying what I really want, but I know I have to start somewhere. Here I am doing this right now and I got to battle for this. And I'm telling you, every day for like a whole year, that lady was like, every little thing that I did, she was watching me. So now I gotta overachieve. You feel what I'm saying? I have to overachieve in order to keep my position because I'm nervous that I'm not gonna be able to keep working here. And then on top of that, many are carrying family responsibilities, motherhood, financial pressure, community expectations, and emotional labor. Like we're carrying all these things. I don't know how many times I scrolled last week and I'm looking at just women on there talking about, they set up a gun for GoFundMe because, like they have a doctorate degree, they been doing applications and nobody's calling them back and, so on and so on. So when we talk about burnout, like in the black community, we cannot ignore professional black women because many are surviving environments that reward performance, but not humanity. Not humanity. And here's what's dangerous. A lot of black women become so conditioned to survival that rest feels uncomfortable. It literally feels uncomfortable. I was just told the other day that people cannot understand how I go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning and get back up at 6. I don't know. My body just wakes up. Because I'm so used to like, I gotta do this, I gotta get this done, I gotta do this, I gotta send out this email, I gotta do this, I gotta, and then you end up doing it all by yourself. Softness feels unsafe for us, boundaries feel selfish. Asking for help, it feels weak. And I can contest to that. It feels weak when I say I need help. Recently, I had to delegate, which means that I had to hire 2 people to do things for me. Well, 3 people, because it's 3 people doing 3 different things for me. And y'all know what? I haven't even met with those people because I haven't even like had the meeting to, like I know they hired, I know they're gonna start working for me. Like I know all of these things, but it's always that scary piece of are they gonna work like me? Are they gonna do or be effective? Is this gonna be effective? So asking for help feels weak because you feel like if I do it myself, I'm gonna make sure it's done right. But at some point, you have to delegate that work out. You have to get someone else to support you in those things. So society praises the endurance while ignoring that we're exhausted. And survival is not the same as wellness. No matter how people want to chalk it up, no matter what they want to think about it, it's not. It's not the same. So when we're thinking about the quote unquote modern day Jim Crow, when we're thinking about how they're trying to remove the 14th Amendment, and then we're thinking about how now Black women who were in the lead in professional jobs are now unemployed. I need y'all to be aware of what's happening. I need y'all to be aware of what's going on. And like I say, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this so that you can go and search for yourself and look at what's happening systematically. And it happens to us all the time systematically because we get so caught up in other things. We get distracted with so many other things instead of paying attention to when these lawmakers are going in here and they said, like, policies are not being, written just when it's time for the president to come in or the first couple of weeks he's in. This is an ongoing thing. It's ongoing. It doesn't stop at all. And I ain't gonna beat y'all to death about that, but I want y'all to pay attention, to be aware of what's happening. Go look it up. Go look up what just happened in Louisiana on the 29th. Go look up what happened today. Read it. If you can't understand it, then you contact somebody who you think can help you understand it. Because I know purposely a lot of people don't know politics, so they don't get into it because they don't understand it. But it's important for you to understand it so that if you can do something, do it. If you don't know what to do, ask somebody like, is there somewhere I can vote? Is there somewhere I can do this? Or is there somewhere I can do that? Because when it comes down to it, the African American communities are the ones that are going to suffer. And then we don't know we suffering until we figuring out like, dang, life getting real hard. Like stuff getting real hard. I didn't know this was a rule. I didn't know this was a change. I didn't know that happening. Before you know it, you're on somebody plantation. Like, y'all, come on. Like, come on. And I know people like, oh, if they not finna put me on, they say y'all ain't going to the military, right? It's a lot of like, oh, what you will do when this happened, or what you gonna do when that happened. When you are fighting somebody when somebody's fighting you with paperwork, you have to fight back with paperwork. It's just that. When somebody's fighting you with knowledge, you got to fight back with knowledge, information, loopholes. And they know that they're loopholes. They're just hoping that you don't know that they're loopholes. That's what the hope is. They're hoping you don't know. So when people are trying to get communities together and people are trying to talk to you, go listen. You listen to everything else. I always tell my kids, like, if you could do the bad stuff, you could do the good stuff. Do both if that's what you have to do. But don't just fall into the negativity, get into the knowledge as well. Okay, so like I said, I ain't gonna beat y'all up about that. But we're gonna talk about now is this doggone teen takeover. So I don't know if anybody been watching it, but I don't watch probably like every video about these teen takeover. And this is the most like I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated how hundreds and thousands of teen kids can get together. Now, even though they fighting and they carrying on, whatever, okay, you know what I'm saying? Kids gonna be kids, right? But and I'm not supporting the illegal activity or the violence or the dangers in it. But you gotta say that these kids are getting smart. They are smart to get on social media, right? Or to make these groups in hundreds and thousands. You can't get us adults to show up in the hundreds of thousands anywhere unless somebody say it's a party. These kids are showing up in places hundreds of thousands in flooding, right? That is smart. And I understand that people don't want to talk to young kids. They feel like they don't know nothing. They feel like, oh, this, that, and the other. But the communication behind what they're doing is genius. It is 100% genius. And people can say whatever they want to say. It is genius that they can get all of those people together at one time. So if we, the community, could understand what they're doing, and we can get together in the hundreds and thousands and support each other on something, imagine what we could do. Because what we're seeing is thousands of young people organizing rapidly. This isn't a message that they send out like 2, 3 weeks before. They pretty much send this out like a couple of days before. And somehow it goes from city to city, county to county, wherever you from, and now they together. That is beautiful. Even though they're doing negative stuff, That's not the beautiful thing in it, but the fact that they can come together. They use social media, group chats, Bible trends. They got language that we don't even know what they're talking about. It's genius. They using their live streams, and then they using code words in the live streams, and then digital coordinate, like just the fact of they're using the system. We have to learn to listen to the young people. We got to get some of the knowledge from them. We got to understand like where they coming from and what they doing. The Gen Z era is the era that the politicians are after the most, because these are the ones that they don't even, it's not that they have no it's not that they don't have a heart, they don't have no fear. None, zero. Gen Z has no fear. They don't care about police, they don't care about adults, they don't care about anything. Whatever they feel, they're gonna say it, they're gonna do it. But if we could talk to them and we can segue into what they got going on and then give them the knowledge of what we have so they know like what's really going on in the world, other than them fighting and toting guns and doing drill, other than that stuff. So we got to bridge the gap somewhere. And whether people agree with the behavior or not, like I said, the organization, like how they're organizing this, it shows something powerful. This generation understands, they understand digital mobilization. That's what they understand. So imagine the same coordination, the same energy, the same communication, because a lot of us adults, we scary. Y'all say what y'all want to say, but we scary. We ain't gonna say nothing. We ain't gonna stand up for ourselves. We're gonna be like, well, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't getting into that. I ain't going to jail. I'm not gonna fight for my rights. No, no. That's how y'all be. But as soon as somebody say, oh, it's a party going on, oh, I'm there. I'm there. They was gonna take the food stamps. They want a halfway battle. They don't even want a full battle. They want a halfway battle. I was like, man, shoot, man, just let them take them then. Y'all don't want to fight, but I don't even get food stamps, and I'm standing up for stuff. I'm like, y'all ain't fighting, I ain't fighting either. Forget about it. But if we could take ownership or we could give them some kind of direction, it would help businesses. It would help invest in political aware. Like it would help so much stuff if we could bridge the gap between the young people, us calling them YNs and them calling us aunties and granddaddies and aunts and all that stupid stuff, right? We got to bridge the gap because these kids got a communication, they got a knowledge that we don't have, but we need it. We need it in order for us to go to the next level. That will shift the entire community. The real question becomes, who is guiding the energy of this generation? Because every time I hear somebody talk about this Gen Z generation, they always like, oh, I ain't dealing with them YNs, or I ain't dealing with them young people. Oh, you can't talk to them. But it's not true. You can. It just depends on how you come to them. You got to come to them with respect. The same respect that you want, you have to give it to them. You have to communicate with them on that way. Yeah, they're going to seem a little aggressive. Yeah, they're going to seem a little upset. Imagine going through your life and not having no knowledge. Because remember, if you my age, we was latchkey kids. Like our parents taught us different stuff. They trained us in a different way, right? But then that next generation, they was having babies young, 13, 14. Parents didn't know nothing. So imagine that they probably just didn't teach their kids anything because they didn't have the knowledge. So after my generation, it started weakening. It started weakening. Now we got Gen Z, right? We got a bunch of kids with a lot of emotions that they don't know what to do with these emotions. And the only thing we do is talk bad about them, say they bad, say they don't listen. It be a lot of YNs walking through my door. I be asking tons of questions like, oh yeah. Oh, you did that? Okay. Not judgmental. Because they don't like to be judged. They just want somebody to talk to that's really gonna listen to them and understand and give them some good advice. And then they get attached to you. But then you gotta listen to them too. And that's where we fail at as adults, is that we don't want to listen to the young people because we feel like we grown and we know everything. Well, if we know everything, why we not fighting for the things that's right? Because they willing to die by everything. They don't care. You tell them they're going I've seen these YNs the other day. They like, Mr. Marshall, we ain't going to the military. We're going to die by that. I said, "Okay." That's all I said was, "Okay." But us, we like, "I ain't going to no military." Still sitting there scared somebody gonna knock at your door to tell you going to the military. They suited and booted, they ready for anybody. So who's guiding them? Because energy without direction becomes chaos. And so that's why they got all these thousands of kids beating up play centers and it's nothing but chaos because they don't know what to do. When my kids was little, I used to play with them outside, like play basketball, football, all that little stuff, playing with them outside. I'll be out there running like I'm a little kid. And people will be like, "Why you out there playing with your kids? You should just let them sit outside." Well, they kids. How do they learn how to play unless I play with them? You can't just sit something in front of somebody and tell them, "Oh, do this." So as they got older, they can play by themselves. You have to teach the young people. You can't just throw them out there and just think, like they know. And you may not think they listening to you. You may think like, "Oh man, they ain't listening to nothing I said. Now they getting smart." Da, 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 da. But sometimes people express themselves differently. It just depends on who the person is you talking to. And that's the thing. We want to instantly say they being smart, but maybe they not. Maybe it's just who they are. Maybe they talk aggressively because everything that happens in their life is aggressive. It's a reality. Look at the world. The world is messed up. They in a space where it's like nothing is right. The parents ain't right. The grandmas ain't right. The money ain't right. It's bills. They watching their aunties and grandmas and everybody crying, upset about this and that and all of these different things. Come on, y'all. At what point do we step into reality? What our communities need right now is to bridge the gap. To bridge the gap between the young people and the adults, understand the policies and legal stuff and politicians and all of this kind of stuff. That's what we need to do. Political literacy, economic ownership. And I know that some communities do this and people don't even pay it any attention when it be posted. Because I be seeing stuff posted and I be like, dang, y'all ain't going? Y'all and people be like, "Oh, I ain't know about that. Oh, I ain't know that was happening." Media awareness, leadership development, emotional intelligence. Because while we being emotional, these people are being strategic. And I'm gonna say that again. While we being emotional, these people are being strategic, and you have to think. Mentorship, workforce wellness, people who own companies, who have businesses, build those businesses right so that you can hire within your communities. Because at what point do we learn that we gonna have to take care of us? Community organization, and I'm not talking about y'all know I'm not Martin Luther King, okay? But I'm coming in peace until somebody mess with my peace. But I'm definitely Malcolm X supporter all the way. Financial education. It's stuff that we need to be learning and that we need to be doing that we're not doing. And I'm not saying don't party, don't hang out because I'm gonna hang out. But at the same time, I'm gonna get the knowledge and I'm gonna spread the knowledge. And I'm not saying you have to be outraged right now. Not right now. Because as long as things going smoothly, nobody ain't touching you, nobody ain't messing with our communities, okay, fine, but always be ready because y'all do know it's coming. Because outrage right now will get us nowhere. But strategic thinking and strategic movement, that's what's going to get us to the space where we need to be. Bringing awareness, that's what changes. So people can see it. And like I said before, the goal isn't fear. It isn't to make people afraid. The goal is preparation. Because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And that's the goal, to stay ready. To provide the knowledge to these kids that when they see certain stuff happen, if people had the knowledge, right? If people had the knowledge back in the 80s, right? When they started dropping those boxes in our communities, if people shared that knowledge, we wouldn't be where we at right now. Because remember, they just was dropping boxes off. And we so nosy, we got to go look in the boxes. Now we got the epidemic of crack, right? History repeats itself. If y'all go look in some of these communities that they're gentrifying, they got these little boxes in these communities where it's like, oh, you could take pictures. Oh, you could do this, you could do that. Why y'all let them drop them boxes in y'all communities like that? Nah, get this out of here. We've been here before. Y'all done came in our communities and we don't need this. We got camera phones. People can battle having cameras put into the lights in the communities. We the only community that when we go into our Walmarts and all that junk stuff is locked up. That's dumb. When statistics show that communities, black people don't steal from within their community. So why would you lock our stuff up? Y'all don't make me go on no rant. Anyway, I'm gonna stay focused because that's what I said I was gonna do. So, but let me leave you with this, right? History doesn't only repeat through laws. It repeats through distractions, division, emotional manipulation, and disengagement. As long as they can keep you distracted, as long as they can keep you divided, emotional manipulation is basically like everybody always struggling to have something, to be something, to do something, to be better than this person. When I keep telling y'all, these people are lying. They're lying. African Americans own 90% of the buying power still in this day. 90% of the buy. Somebody lying. Stop listening to those statistics about we're majority. We're not the minority. We're not the minority. We are definitely the majority. If we own 90% of the buying power, right? That means we got money somewhere. It's just that we don't know financial awareness. So we don't know how to treat our money. And people are learning, but that's the issue. It's not that we don't have money. It's not that we can't make money. It's not that we can't buy within our community and still survive and help each other and rotate all of what we have. It's just that we don't have the knowledge or the awareness, or we don't understand the importance. And I don't want y'all to wait until these people come knocking on your door and telling you you got a curfew, you can't go anywhere. We about to take your sons. Cause baby, I'm fighting by mine. We about to do this. We got control of the bank accounts. We have control of this. This is not to scare y'all. This is to make y'all aware. Pay attention to what's happening. Pay attention to the changes. Good changes, you celebrate them. Maybe, like I said in the beginning, and I know y'all don't like Trump, but maybe he's doing this to wake everybody up to let y'all know that we we ain't never have it in the bag. It was always racial issues. It was always issues with us having jobs and having money and support. It was always issues. We just gonna give it up though. It's time to do better, y'all. It's time to think. Strategic movement. Prepare. Get ready. So because the time is coming. So ask yourself this question. Are you paying attention while they are changing? As I said, I was gonna stay focused because y'all know I go on the whole rant for about 6 hours. But I'm not going on no rant tonight. I'm just telling y'all, be aware, pay attention to what's happening in the news. And I'm not saying like just the news. Look at those meetings when they happening. When they allow us those cameras in there, go in there and pay attention. Go pay attention. Follow your politicians. See what they talking about in all of them. Because at what point do y'all learn that the government don't care nothing about us? And I know I'm gonna have to battle about this show, but I don't care because it is what it is. And they're gonna take it down and I'm gonna put it back up. I'm gonna put it back up. It happens every time. Communities don't lose power overnight. They lose it slowly when people stop paying attention. When they stop paying attention is when we lose every time. Like I said, the best example is Thanksgiving. These people came over here, they got us drunk. We gave them food, we showed them love. Then they raped us, killed us, and told us we had to celebrate it. That's dumb. I love y'all.